Just poured the coffee. We're rolling, man. It's good to see you. Good Lord. It's been, what, 9 years? 8 years? 10 years?
Easy,
Yeah.
easy.
I know. You look exactly the same. You're the...
I don't.
No, you do, dude. The funny thing is, like, I don't know if you realize this or not, but the teammates, we used to call you, the Dos Equis guy. You're the most interesting man in baseball.
Yeah, I remember that shit.
My favorite was, my favorite Virgil Vasquez story that I tell to this day is we had bad water pressure in that clubhouse shower in Southern Maryland. And one day we just all come in. Apparently you'd had enough. You went to Home Depot, reinstalled 6 shower heads. You got the whole like plumber crack going and everything. And end of the night, we win a ball game and the shower feels amazing. So thank you for that again.
You're welcome. I took out the, there's the part in there that makes it not a lot of water come out.
Yeah.
So not only do we replace the showers, pop that out too,
There you go. I mean, what a teammate, right?
Dude, I couldn't hang. I was done with it.
I know. Especially you lose or you pitch bad, lose a ball game. You go in, you got this thing trickling on you. Can't happen.
Best $200 I spent in my life.
Yeah, I know, right? I think your teammates would agree. So what's the latest, man? I love revolution throwing. I looked at the video. I even sent it to friends that were like in the pitching industry, and they're like, "Dude, this is brilliant. Like this is, that whole motion is just so natural."
Yeah. So revolution throwing started out of, my whole career I threw and my arm hurt.
Yeah.
My shoulder hurt all the time, and I was like, just thought it was supposed to hurt. So get to the big leagues hurting, but it wasn't enough pain to not throw. It was like I could make it work. I could do what I worked hard enough. We worked hard, man. Like we worked hard enough to stay in the game. And then when I became a coach, I had this player, and he went from 88 to 98 in 3 months. Wow. Yeah, I'm like, what happened? Like, how did you do that? And he's older, like 25, I want to say 27. And so I went to his pitching coach in the off season because he was a little technical, a little mechanical, and I wanted to try to get him out of his head and more in just like the competition of pitcher versus hitter. Mm-hmm. And I was like, if I learn his cues, maybe, then he won't need the coach back at home, and then we can focus on mindset. And so I go out there and I watch him for a day. I get a lesson, and he tells me this one thing: like throw around a tree. Because I threw one pitch, and he's like, "Hey, I want you to throw like you're throwing around a tree. Like come in and then go out." And I was like, oh my gosh, that's it. And then all of my Tai Chi, all of my, I think I've been doing it for like 7 years, and all of that had just sunk in like, circles and arcs. Because in a Tai Chi, they're always moving from the center, and the hands, like they go up and down, but my hips, like my hand is just going like this, right? Yeah. That's all the hand is doing. But if I turn backwards, it goes down, and then I bring it to inside 90, and then I turn, and then I throw. It literally is only doing this, but with the body turn, right? And it's like, so there's this thing in Tai Chi or martial arts, like, and if I'm right here, I win. Like I can hold this position. Yeah. If I'm here, you win, and if I'm here, you win. Yeah. So there's this place inside of us that like our structure, our bones, and our muscles will hold, and then they also move. They talk about coiling, like moving the hand from the hips, or it's manifested from the feet through the hips out the arms, right? But like thinking about and understanding that the body's supposed to be in you. So one of the cues I use, remember when I threw, it was like shoulder, back shoulder, and then you'd go out like this.
Of course, yeah.
But the new cue that I use is front shoulder, belly button, ear. So it's inside of you.
Oh, wow.
Everything's inside. And then so I just took it, and over the next 3 years, it took me a year to get into a game. So I was still pitching in Australia when I was a coach in the winter time, but it took me a year to get in the game, and I was still practicing for 3 years later. I started using it with some of my players with the Twins, and then they couldn't learn it. And the biggest thing that it did was when guys go to turn, they turn too early. They're lifting and turning. So having the extended pull, right, if I lift and turn, it'll hit me.
Yeah.
So I have to let it come in, and then I turn. And then also you feel the centrifugal force of the other side, and then now you're timing the body to the ball. Because everyone used to teach us, right? They're like, focus from the ground up.
Yep.
And nothing ever changed. Like things would feel different, but nothing really sank in. And so I looked for the one place that changed everything. And it's like when they say you're on time, what are you on time to? Everybody used to say that's the release, but the release is a result, right?
Yeah.
You got me talking, man.
No. This is good. It's funny you say
Yeah.
when you're on time, because like what was on time? I don't even know what on time was.
What's on time?
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
what I'm saying. So I was always like, feet, foot down, this. No, the two things, when on time means two things have to be together, right? And so release point, or really, I would call it release pull, because power is in pulling.
Yeah.
At your release pull, this is a result of actually where I came from.
Okay.
So the whip, the two things that are happening are where is my hand and when am I turning my body?
Yeah.
So what I learned is the hand and the arm is the have to. Like, I have to have enough time to come down and come up and then go. I have to have enough time. And the body's the engine that's powering that. So when you say, when they used to say your arm is late,
Yeah.
your arm is late. Well, my arm isn't late because it's hard to make my arm go faster.
Yeah.
It's actually my body's early.
Okay. Yeah,
I'm
that makes
in a
sense.
rush. Like, right. So like, let my hand have enough time. And when I feel it, so what I started timing everything to was the most important thing on our throw, which is the ball. That's the most important thing.
Exactly.
It's the ball. The ball is the most important thing. Why do we do everything? To throw the ball hard. It's all about the ball. We're organizing our body to allow the ball to move effortlessly to get through release.
Yeah.
So I just started coming inside 90 and just feeling a whip. And it was like, that's the most important. Got to find it. And then I had to learn how to keep my body back, because when you're outside 90, your body's used to lifting and going. So you're always away. So it's like I had to like lift my leg, wait here. Okay, now go. Like literally had to stop. Like just train a new sequence. And so you're repatterning, but you're patterning from the top down.
Okay. Yeah.
And so what I learned,
sense.
like the body, like everyone says, stop flying open. But this thing is, the body is doing what it's doing because of the ball position when you go to rotate.
Yeah.
So the body is doing what it's doing because of the ball position when I go to rotate. So we always used to get mad at the ball for flying open. But if my arm is extended and I'm trying to throw the ball as hard as I can that way, I'm going to fly open to throw the ball.
Yeah.
So that you say, good job, body. You figured out that you needed to throw the ball hard, so you flew open.
Yeah.
But if I put the ball right here, it stops flying open.
That's crazy.
It won't do it anymore.
Man, now you want me to? I want to throw now. Like I want to go outside.
You go
and just
do it.
start
Like I
playing catch.
promise, you'll be like, I found a love for throwing again. And then you start exploring, and then what happens is you start listening to the body.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, there was tension. So you look for just being relaxed the whole time.
Yeah.
And then you just relax. Boom. And people are starting to say in the sport, in the more scientific place, is like, where is the right angle? Like, this is too much. This is like, where is it? Like, we don't know, right? Like, nobody knows what's right yet. Everyone is still guessing. If they say it's right, they're wrong, because there's no one knows where health is, right?
Yeah, of course.
Because health is actually in the mind, and the body is reflecting that, right? So, but like healthy movement is about coiling through the joints. It's about moving energy through the joints. So as you start rotating the joints, like you're wringing out a wet towel, and you start coming, oh, that was too close to my ear. Oh, that one's better. And when you're throwing slow, you got to come closer, because then when you throw fast, your body's going a little farther away, and it like comes in about at that angle. But
okay.
It's this movement of this is like, there's just like a circle, like a helicopter circle up here.
I like it.
So last story about it.
No, this is great.
Last story about it. I'm training one of my pitchers with the Twins. He went from catcher, couldn't throw the ball to pitcher, but he threw 93, touch 95, sit 93.
Mm-hmm.
So every morning at 6:30, I meet with him. I'm like, if you want to learn how to throw, I'll meet you at 6:30. It's the only time I have a meeting at 7. So he met me every morning during GCL. Every morning, 6 o'clock, 6:30. And we just did these things. I'm like, man, he can't wait for it. So I started making different things for him. And then this is what was created out of the have to. His name's actually Juan Gomez.
Okay.
He ended up going to Mexico for 2 years. And last year he got invited to big league camp with the Cubs.
Nice. That's outstanding.
Yeah, so he got an invite again this year. So it's really fun to watch him too, because he's like he's the reason.
Yeah, for sure.
Right, like, because I needed to teach him, and he was willing to do anything, like to try anything to be a good pitcher, because he's like, I just want to play baseball. I love baseball, and he couldn't hit, but he could throw hard. He ended up throwing 100 too, which is awesome.
Oh wow! Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So when guys change, what I found is they feel better right away. normally, you're like, oh, I get it. And it's not like, don't listen to me, listen to your body. Like, I'm just helping point a direction. Like, try it. Like, if it feels better, why not do it more often?
For sure. Yeah.
And then the other thing is, like, if guys are really outside and then they're training inside, sometimes you see like a little dip in velocity. But what happens is now they can gain, because they're retraining their body. So it's a little down. So it's not about getting discouraged. You stay with it. Because now, rather than like throwing and hurting and then just trying to get to be able to throw again or being too sore, it's like now I just keep building on myself because I don't get that sore and I don't get that pain. So now I'm not trying to just feel better. Now I'm just like letting it enough time to recover, where it's like just strength is building on top of each other.
Yeah. That makes a ton of sense. Yeah, but it's funny.
I gave you a lot.
I love it. I'm in. I coach high school baseball. I'm literally going to do this at the next practice. I'm going to play catch and I'm going to try to stay right inside of 90 and I'm going to buy one of those things and I'm going to be out there.
Let's go.
So
we have go ahead.
No, I was going to say, like, you create an awesome product. You're obviously helping a ton of people right now in the game. I guess it always goes back to the why. Like, what about your baseball story? So, bring me back to Santa Barbara, California when you're a young guy. Like, what was your story, your baseball story?
So, baseball, you always think it's about getting somewhere.
Yeah.
But it had turned into becoming someone, knowing yourself, right? Like, it was like, I got to get to the next level. I got to get to the, Santa Barbara was wonderful. Beautiful place to live. Like, I still, like, obviously my parents live there. I visit all the time, and then I go drafted in the 7th round of high school, end up going to college, drafted 7th round of college, UC Santa Barbara, end up playing Tigers for some time, get to the big leagues, and go to the Pirates, back to the big leagues, and then Rays, Angels, break both my wrists, Rays break both my wrists, go to spring training with the Angels, end up getting released. Because there's just so much stress in me now. There's like so much. I got to hold on to the game. I got to hold on. And then we play together in indie ball. I threw 300 innings that year. Like, that 1 year from January to December, I threw 300 innings. And that's when I stopped lifting. I'm like, I've just got to throw. Like, I didn't know how to throw right yet. I didn't know how to throw proper and healthy. But I was like, I just need to throw. Like, I was a lifter that pitched. I need to be a pitcher that lifted. And, mine started changing, like, where it was like, that's when I started changing my mindset. It was, rather than I need to lift to be healthy to throw, it was like, no, I need to throw to be healthy to throw.
Yeah.
Like I was like, oh, I'm not going to throw a lot today because I'm sore because I lifted too much. No, I should like throw and then like, oh, I'm going to take a little off my lift because I'm so sore from throwing. Like, it should be the other way.
Yeah.
And then that's what, and then so go to indie ball and then get signed out of Australia with the Twins. Ended up playing with the Twins in AAA and AA. There's 2 stories there that I'll share. One, this isn't to say anything about me, just to like share a story that someone is always watching.
Yeah.
I was with the Melbourne Aces, and I'm playing in Australia, and I'm pitching. It's my second year out there, my second season because I played half a season. And I'm pitching, and I go like 8 innings, give up like 1 or 2 runs. And I come out of the game, and it's like it's raining a little bit. And one of the guys that was rehabbing, this younger kid, he was out pitching. I was like, I got to watch this kid so maybe I can talk to him later. It was just like wanting to help him.
Yeah. So
I go lean on the fence and watching his 9th inning. And the pitching coach and me are the only 2 on the fence. And the scout comes over to me after the game. And he's like, hey, I saw you pitch. You're 90 miles an hour. You're kind of, I think I was 29 or 28 at the time, so I'm a little older.
Yeah.
Like, I was kind of on the fence with you, but because you were standing on the fence supporting your team after the 8 innings, I want to offer you a contract.
Wow, that's awesome.
You're like, dang, all right. Like, someone's always watching. They're not only watching your experience on the field, but off, right?
Yeah, without a doubt.
So then that got me back into the Twins. And then I was with the Twins, and my first year there, we had too many starters, so they called me in the office. And, I was kind of stressed out. I got from bullpen to starter, and it was a different experience for me. And they're like, hey, we can send you to AA, or you can go home. And I was like, dang.
Yeah.
I'm 30 years old. I don't go to AA. What am I going to do down there, So I called my friends and my pitching coach from college, actually, Tom Myers. He's also a scout with the Cubs
I know
now.
Tom. That's so funny. That's
you know
great.
Tom.
Yeah, that's great. You played
Yeah.
for Tom.
So I called him, and he's like, "Hey, they're just telling you where you are. Like, you're an organizational guy. Go down to AA. You know, see what it is. Just they like you, or else they would just release you."
Yeah.
And I said, "Man, I appreciate that." So I called a couple of people, but that's the one that like hit home the most. And I went down to AA, and what I learned was that I was more fulfilled helping others. I was more fulfilled, like seeing someone else succeed because of what we spoke about, or because of something, And so the next year they offered me a coaching contract, went right in, and and then turned into a coach for the last 6 years.
That's amazing. What's your experience been so far coaching?
Well, the coaching world's a little different. My first 3 years at the org, it was like, I love the Twins, but we've evolved to now where like coaches and players are on the same team, and like collaboration, growth mindset. You're allowed to fail. The player isn't wrong for doing anything. It's like whatever happened needed to happen, so now we can improve from it. Everything was a learning experience. Developing like every coach has 6 to 10 players they talk to once or twice a week. We keep up like writing them programs, like all this virtual things have begun. Like, and I'm really grateful. We have great leadership from all the way to the top to just my coordinators. You just feel taken care of. Like they didn't furlough one coach, and they didn't release one player last year.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's
it's like
rare.
a family. Yeah, it's like a family organization, and just grateful for them. In the coach life, I don't know. It's just like my heart's in it. I feel that I get to be a mentor, a teacher, a friend, inspiration to just whatever. I get to be whatever just to help them. You know, kind of here to help. Like I love my job, and then it turned into this throwing thing. Revolution throwing, and so get to like you. We love throwing.
Yeah, for sure.
Freaking right, like. The coach life. Like but I love throwing. Like I still throw all the time.
I believe it.
I still all the time. Like I love it. It's just the body loves it. It's like they said, like it's a natural movement. It's supposed to feel good. Like I found it, and now, I have a spiritual teacher, and he inspired me because he said he was reading all these spiritual texts. I don't know if you know about enlightenment or anything.
Yeah.
But it's like there's like they call it like classically like the self with a capital S, like realizing the self. So he talked about how like you're recognizing this thing within you that is unchanging, And he says he's reading all these texts, reading all these books, and they said it's hard, it's difficult, it's rare. And he was like, how is that possible when it's just you?
Yeah.
How is it rare when it's just you? And I was like, makes sense. So then it inspired me because like throwing is, you don't have to add anything to yourself. You don't have to get stronger. Like when we limit ourselves, like you can't throw healthy because you have a limited internal rotation. I don't know. Like I used to do that all the time, but that's not what healed me fixing this.
Yeah.
And I'm just talking from what actually created change in my body. So like, just to understand and to believe that, okay, throwing can be healthy. Now let's go do it,
Yeah, no, without a doubt. And so was there a coach or something that inspired you back in the day that you kind of draw from now, or is it your spiritual teacher? Because I think, you've always been very empathic by nature, from a teammate standpoint. And I wonder like where that started, like, or is that just, like you said, is that the self? Is that something that's been in you that you're able to shed light of?
Well, it's always in all of us, right?
Yeah.
It's like when you have an alcoholic drink, right? Do you drink a feeling? No, you drink, and it allows you to feel something that's already within you. So that it like gets rid of the negative feelings and allows you to feel positive for a moment.
Yeah.
But then there's a crash, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So we're like never adding a feeling to ourselves, like whatever we're taking kind of substance,
Yeah.
And so, I was always just kind of inspired, like just kind of had this direction or pull towards that spiritual side of life. But I was with the Pirates. Matt Walbeck gave me a couple books and told me to follow a couple guys. And I went and studied Dr. David Hawkins for years and years. And I would say my coaching style or whatever, it comes from, the unwavering focus of doing anything I can for the player. and how can I create my environment and insides so that when they're inside of it, that there is no choice but to get better.
Yeah.
You know, it's like there's no choice. Like,
Yeah.
let's go. Where are we going? What do you want? But like in complete support of them, not trying to force anything. You know, it's like that's kind of where it comes from. Because it's more like psychology, creating an environment, the communication, the openness. You know, there's two things that I've done that have really helped. One is that I think my parents did to me, which I really like, is like no one's ever wrong. You know, like if I make a player wrong, now I see when he goes and plays, I saw to myself, I'm just trying to make the coach like me and not be right.
Yeah.
But if I use every experience, this is what I tell him before the season starts. I tell my coach like this too. I say every experience, you'll never be wrong. It just took whatever it takes for you to be different. You know, like it takes whatever it takes to learn the lesson.
Yeah.
Even if it was 8 runs that game. You know, I can't get mad at you for getting runs. Like, if you could have not given up 8 runs, would you have? Of course.
Yeah.
So there's something inside of you that the 6 runs or the 4 runs or the no hits was your best effort. So what did we learn, and how are we going to change for the next time? And so those are ways that I adapted my game at the end once I stopped trying to survive in the game and I started just trying to listen to myself and, like, how I was responding and, you know, different things like that.
No, that's so different than our experience when we were playing. I mean, I think, you know, going back
so
to
different.
The pitching coaches we had, and they were good. It had nothing to do with their skill level, but the mindset was just way different. And it was, if you had a bad outing, they're not thinking, oh, that's positive. They're thinking, get this guy the hell out of here.
Yeah,
he has another one. So. Yeah.
Well, I changed my definition of success. Success, I was reading John Wooden. It says success is peace of mind.
Yeah.
Like, that's it. Knowing that you've given your best to become the best you're capable. So after the game, I was pitching, and it was like right at the end in AA, AAA, and I was like so much so mad at myself. And I would ask myself, if I could have given up, no runs would I have? Of course. If I could have done better, of course I would have. But okay, where did I give my power away? Oh, in the 3rd inning, the umpire called 2 strikes in a row balls. And after that, I lost it. I was angry, and that's where I gave up the runs. I let him inside of me. You know, when they say control what you can control, it's not about, the only thing you can control is your response.
Yeah.
And it's not about controlling it. It's about directing it to be in the place that's most successful for you. So, you know, if you get angry, you don't do as well. Well, whenever you get angry, you better have a tool or a strategy to not do it. You know, so I would notice, or I remember the second baseman, ground ball second base, safe.
Yeah.
Because he just took his time, and I got so mad, gave up 3 runs, and I blamed him. But it was actually the anger and the focus on him rather than focusing on my pitch, which what gave up 3 runs. So when I was honest with myself, now I could see that. So now when I see a player, I coach him from that angle. Like, well, okay, he made the error, but where did you get angry? Where did you let that get inside of you and affect your game? Because it's – and the mental skills of baseball or sport or whatever, it's not about not having a reaction. It's about everything. Like, you're going to get angry, but how fast can I let it go?
Yeah.
And my last game I pitched in Australia, in a competitive nature, I gave up a homer. I literally swear, I forgot about it before he touched home plate. Swear. Got the ball back. On the mound, was ready. And he still hasn't touched home plate yet. It literally left. I didn't even care. I'm like, next pitch.
Yeah, and that's
that's
amazing because that is tough to do.
I don't even know how I did it actually, but I was like, man, it was gone. Next pitch, and I was like, oh yeah, he's homer. Oh dang, am I supposed to be mad right now? There's all that stuff.
And so, how'd the rest of the game go?
It was fine. It was my only start. It was just they needed a starter, and I was the coach, so I just ended up starting. I think it came in the pen one time, and I started that game. I gave 3 or 4 in 5 innings. But it was fun. I gave a homer, but it changes. It just changes, you know.
Yeah.
I was still peaceful inside.
That's good.
Even though I wanted to win.
Yeah, I know, right. And so you get to that point mentally. So that was your final outing, right?
Yeah, that was third. I was third. That was 2015. Yeah.
Okay. Wow, that's nice, man. That's 4 years after we played. That's impressive.
Yeah,
Was
32.
How did you know it was over? How did you know playing was over? How did you know like your career was over? Because I know a lot of guys struggle with that.
That's a good question. Well, I was already a coach for 3 years.
Yeah.
And so I was playing every winter. And actually, like, I learned a big lesson because we're always afraid of losing our strength. Whenever I was pitching, I was afraid of losing it, like, oh, I got to keep throwing. What happened, though, is like, so I pitched, and then I had a full season of coaching, so I didn't pitch once a week. You know, you're just coaching, playing catch.
Yep.
And then I pitched in Australia. I was like, oh, I can do this. My body's keeping the strength. And then the next year I went back, I was like, it's a little different. It lost a little bit.
Yeah.
But then the next year, the fascia lost the connection.
Oh,
I
interesting.
don't know. It just wasn't as strong. It took 3 years for it to go away, though.
Interesting.
You know, so like it wasn't that I took a year off, but literally like still playing catch, but no game. And it's that every fifth, that's what I say, like throwing is the workout. Like throwing every fifth day, you know, throwing once a week as hard as you can in a game, that is the workout.
Yeah.
You know, that is the thing. And so when I stopped doing that thing, but I was still lifting, working out, throwing, playing catch, it went down. But it took 3 years. So, you know, if someone's listening to this and they're like worried about, like, you can have a couple days off, you're not going to lose it. you know, you're not. But if you really want to gain, you really have to be consistent, because once you get to this peak, it's like to gain at the top. The incremental, the last 10%, that's the hardest to get. That takes the most concentration.
Yeah. And so you felt like you'd lost that last 10%, and so it was time to move. Yeah, time to move into the coaching ranks and go that route.
Well, that was pure coach, no more pitching.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, you were already 3 years in. Yeah.
Yeah, already. I remember when I told the Twins I was going to become a coach. I hung up the phone, and I was like, I don't have to get the body ready.
Yeah.
You know how much, Keith, how much did you do to get the body ready?
Yes. No, I know that feeling, man.
And how many things?
And the stress that goes with that, and knowing that you can't miss anything. And I think there's a different mindset now, and it's probably a smarter mindset. But back then it was, I mean, if you missed a workout because you were tired, you're just kicking yourself all day. And then you probably go in and do a crappy one and do more harm than good. And so, no, I know that lack of stress when you do that is... It's the physical stress goes, the mental stress goes high for some people, and you're like, what am I doing now?
We had to do so much workout, run, throw, icing, heat up, eat right, sleep, like supplement. I remember it took hundreds of supplements, all kinds of stuff, and I was like, just eat grass, not grass. Just eat eat plants, and you're good.
Yeah, exactly. Plants. Yeah,
body does it itself.
Yeah, I know. So, what changes have you seen in the game since 2015 when we I finished in 2012, you finished a little later. What have the changes
been? Amazing, so good.
Yeah,
love it. The ability to measure the ball.
Yeah,
is so awesome.
I agree.
It changed my game. It's not that it's changing it for the bad. It's changing it because, did you lose me?
No, okay. I'm still here.
It's changing it because now, what we were seeing, you just get to, now there's just a number to it. When a guy throws a good curveball that has a good forwards rotation, you're like, oh, that was nasty. Good job.
Yeah.
But now we're like, hey, it was 90% spin efficiency. Good job.
Yeah.
And the guy that throws a curveball, but it spins like a gyro ball, sideways like a slider, that's not a curveball. And then you look here, it's 3% spin efficiency.
There's your slider.
So it's just telling you what you're doing so you can adjust, right? So it's reflecting that movement. We can get caught up in focusing only on the number and we lose the person, or you focus only on the person and then lose the focus that you can have for him to develop a little bit. But having the Rapsodo and TrackMan and these different data points to measure the ball, and now we have Simi and other things to measure the body, we can see things that our eyes couldn't see about angle, angular velocity and different things about how the body's moving, what positions it's getting through. I always say, give me the player, I'll give you the numbers kind of thing. Okay. Sorry, a fan turned on. I hope it's not.
No worries. Loud. No, you're good.
Yeah. So But like, so those kind of things, those numbers have helped so much. You're like, hey, we need to get above a 70% spin efficiency for your curveball. Your slider is less important, more at 20%, but we want to get this spin axis on your heater. Or you're like, hey, your heater's at 16 inches vertical break, and the spin efficiency is at 85%. If we get that to 95% inside of this number, maybe you'll get in that 18, 20 inch range. And now, boom, now you got an elite carry fastball. Now you just throw the ball right down the middle, belt high, you win.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
right?
so,
yeah.
you know, or the guy's in 14 and he's at 100% efficiency and he's just like, can't get higher than that. So you either turn him to sink or you tell him to use more of his mix. You know, so now we're using what we're giving to like create a better strategy in the player, and then there could be more success.
Yeah, no, I agree. We're doing that right now at our high school. It's a lot of fun. And we got.
Do you guys have Rapsodo?
We do, yeah. Yeah, we have a lot of big leaguers that come out and work out here, and so we're literally having that conversation the other day with the guy from the Diamondbacks that, you know, he can't get above 15. So I'm thinking at some point maybe we got to go to a sinker or be a little more mix based. So, yeah, that's cool, man. I totally dig it too. I've gone all in. I still think there's obviously you mentioned earlier the person element to it as well, but the data allows us to then teach and have points of emphasis, so to speak, instead of saying, "Oh man, that was nasty. Oh, great pitch." You know, "Oh, way to live down in the zone." It's just
no, it doesn't matter.
stuff that we heard that didn't really work. Yeah, so that's awesome, man. I'm happy for you. I know it's
So one thing that we have an advantage on though, because like, right, so there was the full thing and now we have data points. So like the baseball's like leaning towards data and science, but the next part is mindset.
Yeah.
So we can master that. That's the next thing, like, because everybody now has data.
Yeah. Yeah.
But not everybody has the mindset.
Yep.
So learning that, teaching that, understanding that one-on-one competition, emotional and awareness, thought awareness, one-pointed focus, these kind of things, to be able to not allow anything to knock you off, you know.
And what do you teach? Like, what are some points of emphasis on that, or what are some thoughts that you kind of push into your guys?
So I'll just talk about two main ones. So you got to have a pre-pitch process.
Yeah.
You got to have one. You got to have a process. But the purpose of the process is to focus on a pitch where I'm going.
Yeah.
And in the focus, I see there's the lack. So if a catcher gives fastball in, okay, as a pitcher, you're like, yes, fastball in. It's too broad.
Yeah.
You got to say down and in, up and in, on the plate, off the plate, sinker, four-seamer. Like, what is it going to do for him? Like, because I'm always throwing the ball to the hitter, not to the plate.
Yeah.
So it's like you got to give yourself the exact spot. So, and this is where I saw myself mess up, where I'd be like, oh, I'm throwing a fastball in, belt high right now. I just saw him lean over the plate. Here I go. Let's go. And then the catcher gives me a curveball. I'm like, oh, yeah, that's a good idea. But I didn't refocus.
Yeah.
So if I say curveball, I'm like, yeah, okay, curveball. Okay, where am I going with it? Oh, because of the last pitch, I'm just going to go middle down because I'm going to get him a ground ball.
Yeah.
All right, so I have to why do guys hang curveballs all the time though too? It's like they're like, throw the ball harder rather than a two-strike curveball is your normal curveball bounced.
Yeah, exactly.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
It's the normal one on the plate. Like,
yeah.
You'd be so surprised. Like, I always thought like this, like, why would a hitter swing at a curveball in the dirt? They'd be an idiot to do that. But then I started hitting. That's what I thought. And then I started hitting, and I'm like, man, it's hard to not swing at that pitch.
Yeah, exactly. You think it's a strike.
It's really hard not swinging at it. So having that process in which focuses you on where am I going and why. All right. You can come up with 3 steps, 2 steps, but it's got to be exactly where. And so a way to practice that is in the bullpen. I'm the coach. Tell me, like, where are you going? Fastball in. Where? Belt high. Okay. On the plate, off the plate. Where? Yeah. And he's like, too many questions. Yeah. I'm like, it's your bullpen. Like, you got to have this mastered because in the game you can't be thinking.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, so like that's one thing. Another tip that I do in the bullpens is I create a sequence and we practice the sequence 4 times or 5 times. So if a 3-pitch sequence, we'll do it 5 times. You'll be like, okay, we're gonna go fastball in, slider away, fastball up. Okay, ready, go. Fastball in, slider away for a ball. We still count it as 0-2, but maybe he's 2-0,
Yeah.
really. But we work through it, and all of a sudden, by the fourth and fifth one, they're like, choo, 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 choo. And so they practice it rather than like moving the count. You work the count as if it's going to be what you want it to be. You start, hey, let's start 0-1, let's start 0-2, let's start 2-0, let's do 3 or 4 pitch sequences, and just like nail them. And all of a sudden, they start practicing these sequences, and then that's the fastest I've seen it show up to the game.
Yeah,
practicing like that.
That's interesting. And so I hear the baseball side of that, but then obviously I go to like the life side of, your process and then where are you going. And so that's why this is so interesting to me. It's like what you just said is totally right for pitching. I mean, as an ex-pitcher, that's all I think about, how that would make me a better pitcher, but also it makes you a better human being, because if you have a process and you have a direction, you're probably going to be pretty successful.
Yeah, like, where am I going? What's my focus?
Yeah.
But with an openness to whatever, because if sometimes we're so focused on our future, it's too planned.
Yeah.
You gotta have a little freedom.
Yeah.
A little freedom.
No, that
it
makes
might come
sense.
better than you think.
I know, not putting limitations on it, right? That's always the challenge.
The thought only might be a limitation.
Yeah.
It might not be the best one. And so the other process, so you could say a refocusing technique, refocusing process. So there's a pre-pitch process, and then you have something that brings you back to your pre-pitch process. You throw a pitch, whack, double. Throw a pitch, whack, single, first and third. Dang it, get on the mound angry, okay, first step, I have to have awareness that I'm not focused. I got to have awareness. Second step, I got to accept whatever has just happened.
Yeah.
Got to accept it. Okay, now third step, how am I going to get through this? I'm going to focus on my hitter and do the pre-pitch process.
Yeah.
If I don't accept it, like the goal of the refocusing is to let go and accept, or to aware and be accept. Because if I don't accept it, then I'm going to think it should have been different. And if I think it should have been different, then I'm a victim. And if I'm a victim, then it doesn't matter what happens because I have an excuse.
Yeah.
So I got to accept what's happened, and now I got to focus on my process. Because there's a guy in second and third with 2 outs, and I'm like, I don't want him to score. I don't want to score. How do I not let him score? I get the hitter out. How do I get the hitter out? Do my pre-pitch process to focus on my pitch. So like, it's like very simple, but like in the moment, it's hard to let go of those emotions. It's hard to let go of the thoughts. It's hard to let go of those different things.
Again, and this is life stuff too. This is dealing with adversity and being able to accept that something happened and have the proper response to move on towards your direction that you want to go in your life. And so that's why, again, baseball, life, just the combination is just so strong. So no, this is awesome, man. I love it.
Yeah, it's a straight reflection. Like one thing, so like you're in a game, like in life, you manifest, manifestation, right? You manifest, like it might take a week, a month, a couple of days for like whatever you're holding in mind to come about, if it's supposed to be there, if the potential's there. But in a game, you're set, right? And you're like fast bowling, and you're like, yeah. And you go, yes, I should have thrown a curveball. Whack! You lost. You already lost.
I know.
You already lost. So it's like, but in life, you're like, I want this, or I don't like saying want, but like, I want this, but I'm free if it comes or not, right?
Yeah.
And then, then like 2 days later, you're like, I really want this, but I'm okay if it doesn't come. Like it changes, but it doesn't affect your moment.
Yeah.
But in the game, if you're like, focus, I should have thrown that, you lost.
Yep.
You're done.
Yep.
So you get to practice that manifesting, that like one point of focus, that like intention, like, and then it, like you said, then floods into your life and then floods into your game. Like the competitor is a reflection of the person. And I'll tell you how I learned that. I started becoming more patient in my life and realizing there's like, I have time to do the things.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember I'd grab my hat, my glove, I'd be running, and my cup of water, be running up the stairs, hat on, drink the water, throw the cup in, put my glove on, running to the field. One day I was like, put my hat on, drink my water, grab my glove, run to the field. Like, what, it's 3 seconds difference?
Yeah, exactly, right.
But the whole experience was different. So then that turned into my pitch. Rather than trying to get through all my movements, lift your leg, get your hand in, go.
Yeah.
Right, so like the rushed delivery was the rushed mind.
Yeah, that's really good. So it's funny. There was a year where I tried my darndest to not, because I'd put like a coffee cup on top of the car. I'd be 5 things in my arms, dropping, like you break something, you're like, and I'm thinking to myself, like, what am I rushing for? What's it, 9 seconds? What is anybody going to say? Oh, you were 9 seconds late today, or 9 seconds later than you wanted to be.
9 seconds,
yeah,
right?
Exactly, man. That's,
one more trip into the house and back.
Yeah.
32 seconds.
Yeah, exactly. It's it's funny how the cluttered mind, but you said it totally, perfectly. It's if you have a tempo and if you just focus on getting to the right spots, it doesn't have to feel rushed. And rushed equals normally unsuccessful.
Yeah, like get away with it every once in a while, but it's just like, so whenever you see a guy overthrowing or missing high with his curveball, like, what were you thinking about? Is the first question.
Yep.
Not you see, and then it's like, okay, you thought I need to throw harder. So then rather than teaching ourselves or teaching a player, don't throw harder, you say, where can you add to your pitch to actually make it work how you want? Because it's not about not doing it. It's like, where do you add it? So like I learned, like, if I lift my leg and I add the velocity to get to landing, I'm late. I mean, my arm's late.
Yeah.
My body's early. I'm like not on time. But if I add it after I've landed and I add the down through the ball, then it's on. Then I can do it. Right. So do it there rather than there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so it's like, oh, I get it. Okay. And then they start feeling it, and then they say, if you want a mile an hour, that's where you go. But you don't need it. But if you want, that's where you would go for it.
Yeah. No, that's awesome, man. So I hesitate to even ask this because I think I know you well enough. But what are your goals in coaching? Like, what's the next step for you? What are you trying to do?
I know.
Yeah,
right.
I know. I knew that was the answer I was getting. But
I'll tell you what I've learned.
Okay.
So you were there too. I went from the minor leagues to the big leagues.
Yeah.
I've done the whole thing already. I feel like I'm so grateful. My second lifetime in one life, because like I was in college. I got to get to pro ball, A ball. I got to get to double A. I got to get triple. I got to get to the big leagues. Now what do I got to do? And now it's like reset. Start at the bottom. Wherever I'm at, I'm just going to help everybody I can as much as I can.
Yeah.
With the goal, with that focus, right? Like, but this might not be it. Like I said, like with an openness of like, I want to take a pitching staff to the World Series where a culture of positivity like floods out into the community. So, but if that's it, then that's it. If that's not, I'm still going to be happy in the moment helping those people around me, but there still is that intention because, to be at the top, to be at the best, but
of course,
yeah. But still, the best is only perception, because when I got called up with the Pirates, it was the worst time in baseball I ever had in my life. And I'd rather be in the minor leags. So, except for the money was the only difference. But I'd rather be playing with the Blue Crafts. I'd rather have been playing I'd rather have been over here just for my happiness.
Yeah. Why was it a bad time?
Just too much stress inside of me.
Yeah.
No collaboration. The team effort wasn't there. Like the team effort was there, but it's like, I don't know, the environment wasn't breeding togetherness.
Yeah.
That's what I thrive on.
Yeah, and that's a lesson you've taken now into your coaching, where you're like, I'm not going to do that. I mean, I'm going to do everything but that.
Yeah, everything you're doing, everything your experience is you're teaching or learning, like what I'm going to do more of and what I'm not going to
do. Yeah, no, I agree. I do that very often. There's been a couple coaches throughout the years that I've totally copied or stolen or whatever, just that feeling they gave me as a player or a coach. And there are others that did the exact opposite, where, just felt like they stole your soul. And it's like, that's something I will do my darndest never to create or at least do to some young player. So no, I get it, man. I get it. Yeah, that's awesome. What question?
So there's a play like that reminds me, like there's like the player's always responding. But how do we as a coach not have us be what they're responding to?
Yeah.
I don't want him to be on the mound thinking about me as he's pitched. Like, because now he's responding to something. That's why I try to stay away from that place.
And how do you do that?
They don't need to prove anything to me. they don't like I'm on their team kind of feeling,
Yeah.
like they have my support no matter what happens. So go fail, go succeed, and we'll talk about it after.
Yeah. No, exactly.
Like this.
You said it earlier. There's not like the result is besides the point. It's all learning experience. So whatever happened, you're not on their shoulder thinking, what the hell, or great job. It's just like, hey, we'll take the results, we'll digest them, and think about how they helped you moving forward in your path.
Yeah, and remember the focus though is so that the results improve.
Yeah.
Right. So it's not just like, oh, learn. No, it's like, okay, this happened, but we're going to align yourself so that you can be successful more often.
Yeah. Good point. Yeah.
But because it's not. Because sometimes we could say that and people are like, oh, it doesn't matter what happens. Well, I'm adjusting myself because I want to be the best.
Yeah.
I'm not just adjusting
for adjustment's sake. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I don't want to give up runs. I want to strike everybody out.
Yeah.
Like this was awesome. My team last year, I came in. My hitting coach loves homers.
Yeah.
So I was like, I want to love something. So I came in. I'm like, I love strikeouts. I love them. I want you guys to strike everybody out.
Yeah.
And there was some freedom they said that they had. Like no one's ever said that. And I was like, yes, strike everybody out. And every strikeout you get, I'm giving you 3 tickets for punching tickets. And then I'm going to have a store at the punchy store. They can buy stuff.
That's outstanding. Well, so what was at the punchy store?
I went to the $5 below store and like just to buy a bunch of things or just toys.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Things. But then the last punchy store, they came in one at a time, whoever had the most tickets to the least tickets, and then we had like a twins pullover for everybody.
Oh, nice. Very cool.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, it makes it fun too, right? I'm sure they were fired up when they were getting punching tickets.
They'd come in and be like, hey, you didn't give me my tickets. You didn't give me my tickets. I'm like, good. I'm glad you remembered.
glad you were listening. One of the things we do is we talk about our funniest stories or like things we remember that, and I brought up one earlier, but I mean, dude, to this day, I'll never forget the shower story. I'll be 85 years old, drinking a glass of wine, talking about, Virgil putting in shower heads in Southern Maryland. So do you have any that you kind of recall that stick out to you where you're like, oh man, that was classic?
I remember, our indie ball days, I just remember having this freedom. Like we had coaches, but we didn't have coaches. Yeah. We're coaching ourselves. And that's why I learned so much there, is because I was coaching myself.
Yeah.
And we had,
you were coaching me too at times too. I appreciate that.
You got it. Everybody's helping each other. I just remember like shagging barefoot.
Yes.
I
forgot about that, but yes, that was a lot. That wasn't just once. You'd think that was a daily thing.
I loved it. I remember like after BP, there was like they were doing the construction behind the house, so they were building houses. So I'd like just disappear and do my Tai Chi in the forest or go for hikes.
This is why you're on the podcast, dude.
I remember there was a pool in center field. Yep. Like we'd go swimming in the pool. It was just like fun. Like it was baseball. Like everybody was focused on playing, but it wasn't what you wore, how your facial hair was, or it was like, if you want to be barefoot during BP, be barefoot during BP. Yeah. Like just let's play the game and everyone be themselves. And I just, and the coaches were even supportive of us. I remember, what was our pitching coach? His name was Larry what?
That's a great question. I remember just Larry.
So his first name was Larry, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it was Larry. Yeah, for sure. Loved Larry. He was awesome.
I loved him. I was stretching one day before stretch. And he said, everybody is here for a reason. If you think you're not supposed to be here, you're never going to learn the reason.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Once you figure out your reason and why you're an indie ball, then you won't be here anymore.
Yeah.
And then so I started listening to people, and I like, this guy is these mother effing major league organizations. He's never going anywhere. He's a victim. And I started really asking myself, and I was like, for me, it was a curveball. I didn't have any breaking ball.
Yeah.
And we had a Latin pitcher. I forget his name. And he told me one thing as he had a great curveball. I was like, how do you throw your curveball? He's like, not like this. Your hand and wrist are always straight. That's how you throw a curveball.
Yeah.
And I was like, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I had a curveball, it was about us teaching each other these different things, and having fun. And we played in terrible places too. Oh my goodness. So much fun.
It really was, man. It was, and you hit it on the head. It was a total collaboration among the pitching staff. I mean, you remember
Yeah.
Joe Gannon, knuckleballer?
Joe Gannon.
He was he's still to this day one of my favorite pitching coaches, and he wasn't my pitching coach. He was just another fellow, member on the staff, and I'd ask him questions. I'd ask you questions. Ryan Bicondoa, another guy. There was such a collaboration, and it was one of the few times in professional baseball where you're actually getting paid, but you were felt that team chemistry. It was so rare.
Yeah, and everybody there, we weren't misfits, but
A little bit.
it's we loved the game so much.
Yeah.
It didn't matter getting paid. It didn't yes, we were trying to get back to pro ball, but we were in pro ball. Some guys were just playing. It wasn't. I don't know. There was a love, and I remember Jeff Ridgway hooked me up with indie ball after I got released. He's like, "Gotta play," and so he says, "You'll fall in love with the game again," and that's
awesome.
where I really felt. Yeah, just because, and then you come back into pro ball, and you see get to the next, beat this guy out, beat this guy, da da da, and you're like, you don't need that, need it. Different mindset.
Yeah, for sure. No, I agree, man. Those were good times. I mean, it's to this day, like you hit it on the head. There's definitely an area where you fell in love with the game and playing the game and just going out and competing instead of thinking, where am I going? How do I get there right away? And it's not happening. And how do I not get it? How do I get an organized job again? It's crazy.
Yeah. So you came in halfway through the season, didn't you?
I got hurt halfway through the season. I'd played the year before.
Yeah.
And I was 31 at the time. I mean, I just go back to that now, and it's I was kind of old, playing.
We were old.
Yeah,
man.
I know, right? I know, but that team was super fun. We were good. We were, we were super competitive, and it was awesome. Like I said, barefoot shagging, doing all kinds of random things, jumping in the bumper boat pool in center field.
Yeah.
It was a blast. Felt like summer ball again.
Yeah. So you're high school coach now?
Yeah, coaching at Miracosta High School in Manhattan Beach, California. So a lot of fun,
awesome.
man.
When I come out, I'm gonna come visit you.
Oh, dude, we can park our vans next together.
I'm in. Well, I'm living in a camper. I'm actually at my friend's house.
Okay.
As I'm moving through, he actually put a bed over in the corner of the basement. So I'm down in the basement right now.
That's nice. Yeah, do me a favor, man. Seriously, when you're out here, would love you park your camper at my place, hang out. Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah.
I got
awesome.
two young guys and wife that would love to have you. Megan remembers you, but yeah.
I remember. If spring training starts April, then I'm gonna come home to California. If it starts February, then I probably won't. But
okay, cool.
Yeah,
do you know? Yeah, do you know yet? And you'll be at big league spring training, correct?
Because of COVID, I'm a double-A pitching coach,
right.
so we just don't. Normally they go, but we just don't know yet.
Yeah, makes sense. Okay, well, hey, you're always welcome, dude. Seriously, would love it. We can.
Yeah.
It's a good spot.
So would I.
Yeah, definitely. Well, it's good seeing you, man. I appreciate you doing this. It's awesome. You're the man.
Great
like I said,
to be here with you.
We'll always be one of. Like I said, I'll be 80 years old telling Virgil Vasquez stories. So always be one of my favorites.
More, man.
I agree.
Make some more.
Yeah, I'm in. All righty, we'll talk soon, man. Best of luck.